taken. All of this, Congressman, comes on the same week that the House Intelligence Committee, on which you're a prominent member, basically ended your investigation of Russian collusion. I want to put up one of the key conclusions from Republican members of your committee. We have found no evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy between the Trump campaign and the Russians. GOP members also said that while they believe the Russians meddled in the campaign, they did not believe, in fact, they broke with the intelligence community's conclusion that this was an effort by the Russians to benefit the Trump campaign. Question, what's the basis for your conclusion, and you, I say collectively, Republicans on the committee, what's the basis for the conclusion, case closed?
Well, the basis for the conclusion, case closed on no evidence of collusion, is that we've interviewed north of 70 witnesses. And, Chris, I personally have asked every one of them, give me any bit of evidence you have, regardless of whether you believe it and regardless of the source, that President Trump colluded, conspired, coordinated with the Russians. And not a single witness, from Susan Rice to Ben Rhodes to Donald Trump Jr. to Jared Kushner, no one has any evidence. I mean, folks who are sympathetic to the president and folks who are antagonistic to the president, not one scintilla of evidence of coordination, collusion, conspiracy between Trump and his campaign and the Russians. So I can't tell you what I don't know. I can just tell you I asked every single witness, and every single witness, including former Obama administration officials, had no evidence of collusion.
But here's the one question I have about this, Congressman. I want to put up some of the people that you and members of your committee never had a chance to talk to. Michael Flynn, Paul Manafort, Rick Gates, George Papadopoulos. These are some of the central figures in the Mueller investigation. So without having spoken to them, how can you conclude that there was no collusion?
Well, we can't talk to them. They're all under indictment and/or have pled guilty, which is why I say there is no evidence. I can't tell you what 4 people I haven't talked to are going to say, but Chris, I can't talk to them. They have a Fifth Amendment right not to talk to Congress. I mean, Steve Bannon's not under indictment, and he didn't talk to Congress. So, look, there are lots of things to blame Congress for, but us not knowing what people who won't talk to us are saying should not be one of them. I don't know what Mueller has found, and I've been really clear, leave him alone. Let him do his job. I can tell you within the universe of folks that we've interviewed, there is no evidence of collusion. That's the best I can do. I can't tell you what people I haven't talked to would say.
Here's my only point about this, is that the president is using the House Intelligence Committee's findings in effect as grist, as a defense to say that there was no collusion. And what you're admitting is that there were a lot of key members to this investigation who you've never talked to. So your conclusion is not conclusive.
Well, that's why I always say based on the evidence. And you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what witnesses you haven't talked to or documents you haven't seen. Look, I'm disappointed that Steve Bannon would sit there and be interviewed by a salacious book author, but he wouldn't answer our questions. I'm frustrated by that. But executive branch investigations have more credibility, they have more tools, and that's what I think my fellow citizens ought to be waiting for and have confidence in, not congressional investigations that are run by guys running for the Senate in California who've never met a camera that they didn't fall in love with. That's what you should not have confidence in. Have confidence in the executive branch investigations. And if Mueller finds stuff, more power to him. But the best I can do is interview the people in front of me and ask all relevant questions. And no one has said there was evidence. No one has said that there was collusion.
I want to bring up one final point. President Trump this week finally imposed sanctions against Russia for meddling in the 2016 election. This after, and I know you voted for it, Congress approved sanctions back last summer, and in fact, the president didn't even impose all of the sanctions that all of you in Congress did authorize him, give him the opportunity to use back last summer. Do you think the president has stood up, has taken action against Vladimir Putin, or do you wish he had been tougher to him?
I think he's done a hell of a lot better job than President Obama did. It wasn't Donald Trump who laughed when Mitt Romney said Russia was our #1 geopolitical enemy, and it wasn't President Trump who handed that awkward reset button to the Russians, and it wasn't President Trump who said on a hot mic, I'll have more flexibility in his second term. All of that was President Obama. So this country can't be tough enough on Russia. They tried to interfere with the fundamentals of our democracy. I mean, their war is not against Democrats or Republicans, it's against Americans. So you cannot be tough enough against Russia, in my judgment. I hope he does more, but he did a hell of a lot more than his predecessor did.
Congressman Gowdy, thank you. Thanks for your time. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, sir.